Top 10 Longest Prison Sentences Ever Issued. Number 10. Bobby Joe Long, 28 life sentences plus 4 99-year sentences and a death sentence. Bobby Joe Long is a serial killer, sexual assaulter and kidnapper from Florida who is currently on death row. Back in 1984 he tortured and murdered over 10 women in Tampa. He would go out at night, searching for solitary women, particularly strippers or prostitutes, and after persuading them to come back to his apartment, would overpower them, and sadly, we all know how the rest would go. He has remained alive through an extensive series of appeals, but remains on Florida's death row. Number 9. Martin Bryant, 35 life sentences and over 1,000 years. The Port Arthur Massacre is the largest mass murder in Australia's history. It served as a catalyst for firearm restrictions in the country. Bryant is now known to be terribly unintelligent overall. He suffers from significant learning disability and has an IQ in the mid-60s range. Doctors have said that his lack of reasoning ability was a contributing factor to the massacre he carried out in 1996. He killed 35 people and injured 23 more with a pair of assault rifles back in that year and received a sentence that the judge hoped will keep him in prison for life, no matter what. He has attempted suicide many times while incarcerated. Number 8. James Egan Holmes, 12 life sentences plus 3,318 years. The most recent entry on our list is James Egan Holmes, the Colorado theater shooter. Back in July 2012, he entered an Aurora, Colorado movie theater and gunned down 12 people, injuring 70 more. He was a student at the time, studying neuroscience, and was thought by many to be a little mentally off. He was convicted of first-degree murder and received the sentence of life without parole. The judge tacked on over 3 millennia due to the numerous attempted murders. Number 7. 2 Iranian conmen, 7,109 years. There are no names offered up for this entry. However, it turns out that even being a conman in Iran is a very dangerous proposition, at least, if you value your freedom, that is. On the 15th of June 1969, 2 conmen found this out to their peril. The judge in their case decided to give them sentences equal to the number of their transgressions. Each ended up with sentences of 7,109 years. Number 6. Dudley Wayne Kaiser, 10,000 years. Kaiser is an Alabama man who killed his ex-wife, mother-in-law and a male student back in 1976. Due to the fact that the murder took place on Halloween, he is known as the Halloween Killer. He shot his ex-wife Emily in the chest, Eunice, the mother-in-law, in the head while she tried to call the cops, and the student Richard Pyron was shot in the head while begging for his life. The criminal system couldn't kill him, so the judge sentenced him to 10,000 years so that he would never be free again. Number 5. Darren Benelford Anderson, 11,250 years. Darren Benelford Anderson was convicted in Oklahoma of sexually assaulting an old woman, along with other crimes such as larceny, robbery and kidnapping back in the mid-90s. His original sentence was just over 2 millennia, but after an unsuccessful appeal, in 1997, he was later convicted once again, and this time was sentenced to 11,250 years behind bars. Number 4. Alan Wayne McLaurin, 21,250 years. Alan Wayne McLaurin was Darren Benelford Anderson's accomplice for any of the crimes for which he was convicted. He was convicted of most of the same things and received a 21,250-year sentence, which was reduced by 5 centuries after a successful appeal. As previously detailed, he and Anderson deserved every single year of both sentences. Number 3. Charles Scott Robinson, 30,000 years. Charles Scott Robinson is the highest American on this list, and he sure earned his 30 millennia behind bars. From Oklahoma, Robinson was convicted of 6 counts of sexually assaulting children back in 1994. The judge who issued his sentence made a point of creating a situation whereby no matter if Robinson was paroled for one of his convictions, after 13 to 15 years, he would have to wait well over 75 years to actually get out of prison. The jurors in the case were unable to have him sentenced to life without parole, so the judge took care of it. Number 2. Chamois Picasso, 141,078 years. Chamois Picasso is essentially Thailand's equivalent to Bernie Madoff. While Madoff got 150 years for his pyramid scheme, she received a sentence of 141,078 years in prison. She tricked over 16,000 Thais in a scheme that was worth over $200 million at one point. She was discovered and tried back in 1989. The wife of the high-ranking officer in the Thai Air Force, she set up her investment firm years prior to being caught along with 7 of her accomplices. Number 1. Gabriel March Grandos, 384,912 years. The longest prison sentence ever demanded by a court of law was given out in Spain, in 1972. Unlike other perpetrators on our list, who received sentences more befitting their crimes, the young Gabriel Grandos, aged 22, was accused of fraud because of his failure to deliver a little over 40,000 letters. We understand that messing with the mail system is a serious offense, but a sentence amounting to nearly 400,000 years does seem a bit of an overkill in this particular case.